Do we need to do the ayes?
Oh, yes, we do need to do, thanks, Joy. Roll call votes. Aye.
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 Okay, perfect. All right, number 5, service and circulation policy.
So that is the next item in our packet after minutes. It is those changes that we discussed in November and December to allow the circulation of the Chromebooks. So we took the fines and fee schedules to City Council. They approved the $5 overdue fee for if the Chromebooks are not brought back that day that they're due. And now it is up to the board to pass the policy with the revisions that we had discussed before we can begin checking those items out to customers. So if you are comfortable with this, you can make a motion to approve, to second, and then vote on it. And then I will begin taking the steps forward tomorrow if it's approved.
I have a question. So, so there aren't fines right now, though.
Not presently, no.
Okay, so
Overdue fines have not been charged during COVID.
okay, so there's a chance somebody could take them and just never bring them back until.
So at 30 days overdue, we bill the items cost, replacement cost to the customer's account.
Okay, just curious. Okay, so I'll motion to approve.
Okay, thanks, Joy. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thanks, Karen. Okay, and then we need a roll call vote. Aye.
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 All right, approved. Thank you. Okay, number 6, long range plan discussion regarding board recommendations and 2017 version of public and staff plan.
Yes. So I'm going to start the video and I'm going to scroll back down within this document. Our last version of the plan was published in, I guess, 2017, according to the dates there. And we have to update it every few years for the state library to make sure that we're meeting the strategic planning requirements for the public library. I know the city data will definitely need updated, and I can do the research and update the community profile information. However, typically we have the library board help weigh in on the ongoing policy review. So this was our previous version of the policy review. If the board is okay with it, my recommendation is just to continue the same formatting and change the years so that we're following the scheduled reviews for the policies. And then this is the public version of it once we publish it and put it on the website. And it includes that long range plan document review for the policies. And then it includes 3 financial, 3 customer service, 3 day-to-day operation, and 3 learning and growth goals. So this is the board's opportunity to kind of read through what we did in the past, make recommendations that you think would be appropriate for the future, and we can see how we can incorporate that into the long range plan. I have already sat down with Carl and Jill and Taffy and got their feedback on what they would like to see specifically that they think is manageable within our staffing and our budget allocations. So specifically with the day-to-day operations OP1 from 2017, the call numbers project has basically been completed. All of the fiction areas are done. We're working through nonfiction. So that doesn't have to remain a first priority goal because it's basically been accomplished. So we were thinking of putting something specifically related to the summer reading program and programming for families in the community in there. That would be a good tie-in to day-to-day operations goals. But I also want the board to be able to provide their content and ideas.
What's the first, the day-to-day operations one?
The first one was converting our call stickers to include the author's full last name.
Oh,
Because
the
when,
author, okay. Okay,
when
hold
they
on.
opened the library, they only did the first 3 letters of the author's last name, which helps, but not as much as the full last name.
And so we've already done that?
Yeah, we did meet that one.
Okay, so what are our current ones?
So this is the time we get to have you guys throw out some ideas and I see how I can incorporate into the next version.
Okay, what were Jill and Carl and Taffy's?
It was with relation to technology updated for staff and customer use that we're going to work towards using our Clef grant funding this year, so that we're circulating all of the Chromebooks we currently have, but we're going to bring more Chromebooks in to be available for programming in hopes that one day we can resume our STEM and 3D printing and coding classes and have enough technology available to teach those. Specifically relating to programming, Taffy wanted to strengthen the programs available to families and residents that aren't necessarily in the toddler range. So we've done really well at doing the morning story times and the programs for that. We have the occasional afternoon thing. Our facility really limits us in what we can do with that, but she wanted to look into bringing trivia nights and other virtual events and activities together and trying to do some of those things for the community in programming area.
And how far advanced are these goals?
This would be over the next 3 to 5 years.
And when have we been promised a library? Is that another 10 years or is that within those 3 to 5?
We don't have a timeline in the facility.
Oh, we're not even promised a time anymore. So it's not even the additional 10 years that we have already achieved. So can we throw that in as a goal? Kind of like you reach for the stars and you hit something in between?
So with financial, I could creatively take the beginning of long-term financial planning for the library's growth at various milestones and word that into, we were awarded a grant a month ago, 2 months ago, to do a facilities needs assessment. So what size would you need is what it investigates, and how would we fund this facility? So I could creatively word that grant into the financial goals.
Sounds good. Yeah. Creative or non-creative, I'm okay with just stating it out there. We would like a freaking library. Just, am I even, do we have to reach these goals? Are these goals that need to be?
They should be attainable, or as a staff, we will feel like, why are we working towards something that's not attainable?
Well, with the city council, it could have been attainable. It could be attainable.
Yes,
But-
we just need to begin gathering the data,
Okay.
because the reality is the needs assessment will help cover what would it cost.
Okay, I
Because
think we'll start there.
those numbers, they vary greatly in different communities. And the funding options also vary.
I know we could offer more classes if we had more space and had more of even just, yeah, just the location even. So, okay,
So
that's what I
Melissa,
would like. Anybody else?
does the number of people have to do, like, the more neighborhoods are being built, does a library ever get bumped up based upon the growth of the community? You know what I mean? As far as, I mean, I drive down Redwood and there's just a million subdivisions going on both right and left-hand sides of Redwood.
So it really comes down for our city to how are we going to fund the ongoing facility, staffing, et cetera. Right now, we're a general fund department, which has worked, but it also means that we're competing against other departments who also have legitimate needs. Salt Lake County is a very good example in that they have a dedicated tax for all of their homeowners. And that tax is used toward their analysis of where do they put their new buildings in. So their new building that they're going to be putting into Daybreak and the other locations that they will be adding in future years have been basically the money's been set aside to prepay for that based on where the population moves and where the community needs it. Does that help answer your question, Christy?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody have any other thoughts for the goals?
Okay, I will take this back to the drawing board and all of the little initiatives and measures and targets. And at our meeting in March, I will bring you guys a revised draft for the next version of the long range plan. We had started updating some of this information here, and then I just had blank boxes here to be able to write myself notes on what the board came up with and what our staff came up with. So I will move forward with that.
Okay, thank you, Melissa. Okay, number 7, director's reports, financial statements and COVID-19 impacts.
Okay, I am scrolling down. Our reports, our numbers are higher than most of the libraries near us still, which is great. Drive up service continues to be used, but we see a lot of people coming into the building. It's very rare that we're hitting maximum capacity of 20 people, which is very nice for staff because then we don't have to unfortunately tell people they have to wait in a line outside. However, we're all kind of crossing our fingers and hoping that come June, there have been enough vaccines administered and changes in society that we can resume some of our more traditional services, but we're going to play that by ear based on the governor's update, of course. With the COVID-19 impacts, we have made a Chromebook available for customers to be able to come into the library. We were able to socially distance it and leave 6 feet around it so that they can come in as long as their use is 30 minutes or less within the time allowances of visits. We're making that available for people and staff. We've heard from Smith's Pharmacy and have heard from Walmart through the state that they are beginning to make their appointments for the 70+ population for being administered vaccination. So staff and I have discussed if they are comfortable helping people make these appointments, that they can put them on the Chromebook and help walk back there and walk them through that, because typically in that population, they need a little bit more help with their technology use. So that is where we're at with our COVID impacts. Any questions?
I just want to comment, that's awesome.
Yeah, they've been very good. And Smith's was amazingly proactive in reaching out to find out if we had computers, when they were available and when they could send people over. Not every business has been that way. So it was really nice to have one that checked their facts and coordinated with us. It was wonderful.
That's really neat. I like that.
Our financial update, of course, our revenues are down this year, as we are expecting, based on the no overdue fines with COVID that's gone on almost an entire calendar year now. And we do have our donations coming in. That money is the revenues from printing things right now, because we made the print service available. Our miscellaneous sales are the non-resident library cards and lost library cards, and then our fines, which is at the $1,700. So we are well below normal. And then the rest of our expenditures are coming in right about on track. Of course, our office supplies, I told you guys we had ordered some additional cabinetry and office supplies to outfit that additional room for staff to be able to use it in social distance. Our books budget, we always overspend because we always have the savings and salaries. And then I had told you at the last meeting, we had already expended all of our digital purchases money based on just filling the whole clips over the last 4 months. Well, from July, I'm sorry, it's been longer than that. It's been 7 months now. But we did put in an additional request for digital content monies in next year. Finally, we have 2 grants coming in. The grant that we were awarded for a facilities needs analysis that I have written an RFP. Well, I've drafted an RFP. It's in for review and will hopefully go live in the next 2 months. That grant has to expend funds by June 30th. However, they give us until November to actually have the projects completed. So hopefully a vendor will find this as a entertaining project that they are willing to devote some time to. And they would be able to give a third-party opinion that is not the libraries or the staff's of the legitimate needs of space in the future. And then our Clef grant funding, that's around $6,000 that we are going to use to purchase additional Chromebooks while we circulate these ones so that we can resume our programming with the Chromebooks and STEM and 3D printing and everything else when COVID allows us to do so.
Hey, Melissa, I have a question. I can't remember where I saw this online, but is there a device that has all of, it's kind of like oh, my mind just went blank. What are the like, they're not iPads that we rent, we check out. What are they called? You know, that have all the apps on them?
Oh, so what we have are launch pads.
Launch pads. So they're like that, but they're kind of Kindle type that have all the Battle of the Books pre-set on them. So is there anything like that?
So the Kindles that they do that with have to be individually purchased and curated. They have to buy the digital copies of each of the books to make that available. But that is another option in purchasing technology for circulation that we've discussed. Our challenge has been other libraries have issues where they forget to lock down the Kindle and the customer spends money on the credit card. Because Kindles are not as secure to circulate as other devices that don't require a credit card access.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's been a very unique conversation for libraries because if they don't lock the device back down and their tech departments or their staff doesn't always remember to do that, they end up with random titles that customers decide to purchase when they have the content checked out.
Okay.
So I've been hesitant to just do some Kindles yet.
I can see that.
But I'm very pessimistic. With our iPads that we had, we were able to lock them down. There's a software that disallows customers from downloading new apps. It disallows customers from adding additional content, purchasing things, etc. Kindle has not proven that same ability yet. And the best workaround that some places have found is to just create a generic account and purchase all of the children's friendly Kindles. But that's still just a workaround. They don't actually have something that locks it down and secures it.
Makes sense.
Okay, well, I think that's what you had for me on the agenda. Any questions I can answer beyond that?
Anybody else have any thoughts, questions, anything? Okay, well, we just need to announce that our next meetings next month, that should be March, right? Next meeting March or February?
I'm sorry, I didn't update the month.
Yeah, March, is it March 9th? Is that the date?
Yeah, that would be March 9th.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thanks, Karen. Okay, and then we just need, we're adjourning the meeting at 7:02 and we just need to, do we vote? What do we do?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, and roll call. Do we need a vote? I can't remember.
I,
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
thank you. Okay, the meeting is adjourned until next month. So,
Thank you all. I will have an updated long-range plan for you then.
okay,
Sounds good.
perfect. Okay,